Growing up in New Orleans, Louisiana, Will Clark developed a love for baseball. His passion for the game intensified at Mississippi State, and in the 1984 Olympics, he joined Team USA, becoming one of the best amateur players in the country. During the 1985 College World Series, Will Clark was drafted second overall by the San Francisco Giants, achieving his childhood goal of playing professional baseball. This is Inside the Clubhouse, Will the Thrill.
What? There you go. Take that with you. See, you don't even know how to bite them. Silly goose. Why are you rubbing on me? Crook did fish. He can never show up and be a normal guy. He's gonna show up and be somebody stupid. So like, you know, in the fishing world, be like a Bill Dance. So he shows up with a Tennessee hat on, you know. And, you know, we played the charity golf tournament out there at Pebble Beach, and he shows up in knickers. You know, he thinks he's Payne Stewart. What are you doing with the grandpa deal?
I'm a grandpa, man.
You are a grandpa, as a matter of fact. Yeah, use it to hold yourself up?
Hey, I need this thing.
Hey, nice to see you, Will.
Same here. Y'all doing all right? Oh, give me some. That's what I'm talking about.
And with that, we are off and running the second annual Giants 49ers. That was really impressive. Whoa. My fault. I cannot believe this. There has been a mistake in my order of play. We saved best for last. He's Will Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
Anybody got a tea about that high?
Yeah.
Y'all can talk. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings none.
That's a sweet swing. Now we're on to the second annual Giants 49ers.
Way to go, Murph. You pissed him off. Woohoo!
That a baby, Murph.
You suck.
Touch them all.
Yeah, sure.
I said, hey, y'all can talk. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings none. And it winds up out there right in the middle. Like, all right, that'll work.
1985, we lost 100 games. Will Clark was down in A-ball in Fresno, which was in the Cal League at the time. They were winning a championship. So he plays about half a season, comes to big league camp the next year, and he had an outside chance to make the team. But it was very clear early on that he was not afraid of microphones. But we didn't care. We didn't want us, the press asking us about last year's 100-loss season. It was dismal.
I'm sitting here talking to Giants first baseman number 22, Jack Clark.
Oh, whoa, Will Clark.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
How confident? Off the charts. I kind of compare him to Bryce Harper now. It was obvious to everybody who saw him that he belonged in the big leagues and he was going to be good in the big leagues.
He was arrogant in his own way, but it wasn't a negative arrogance. He knew he could play. The kid was a natural.
On the sweet part about attracting flies here. Missed him.
Reality of it was he was absolutely green as a gourd. I mean, they had a little Gomer in him, a little bumpkin in him, you know. He was a kid who really, his whole life, he was a gym rat, you know. It was from the house to the ball yard. That was his life. So now he's in the big city lights, and the big city lights can eat you up.
Giants veterans Mike Krukow and Bob Brenly were quick to teach Will Clark the craft of being a major league ball player.
It was back in the time where a veteran went up to a rookie and said, listen, rookie, this is how it goes. And I was like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And everything that they told me was right on. It was right on the money. And I can't give them enough thanks for their leadership. The Thrill. Where the heck did it come from? That is a Mike Krukow and Bob Brenly production.
You know, Will came into spring training, he introduced himself. Hi, I'm Will Clark. And said that we're all real thrilled to meet you. you know, trying to keep him in his place a little bit. But
like I told you, you know, I was having pretty darn good spring training. And
then the game started, like the first 4 games. He's lighting it up. He's going Melky Cabrera on us. 2 or 3 hits a knock, 2 or 3 hits a game.
It just kind of rolled off the tongue, Will the Thrill. It just sounded right.
Brindley's sitting next to me, and he's got a schmag going. He's got a cup of coffee, and he goes, "You know who we got, right?" I go, "You talking about the new kid at first base, Neusner?" He goes, "No, that ain't his name. It's Will the Thrill. That's the name." Because that guy is a thrill a minute, and that was it.
Will Clark plays the game as hard as anyone. Oh, Clark makes a great catch.
Revisionist history, I think, is the best way to describe Kruko's approach to certain things. And I forget a lot of things, so between the two of us, we make one good story. So take half of what he said and embellish what I said, and that's probably somewhere near the truth.
Golf coming naturally to you, huh?
No, I'm just thanking God that the thing ain't moving, so I'm hitting it when it's sitting still.
Easier than hitting Nolan Ryan, I would think, huh?
No, not at all.
The Thrill started his major league career against the Express, Nolan Ryan, and quickly cemented his place in Giants history.
Well, I was pitching that day, 1986 season. We had to open up 2 series, one in Houston, and they were supposed to be the team to beat.
I think there were a number of us sitting on the bench that thought Nolan might stick one in his rib cage just to establish that, you know, I'm the top dog as long as you're here in my house.
Houston Astrodome, you didn't hit home runs in, ever. And if you did, they damn sure didn't go out to center.
Before I went up to home plate, Chili Davis he told me, he said he likes to throw a lot of fastballs away.
And I remember Jeff Leonard and I were sitting on the bench. He looked at me and he says, "Okay, $100. Who gets the first hit, Robbie Thompson or Will Clark?" They were both rookies.
Actually had a few little butterflies going. First at bat in the big leagues, all that sort of stuff.
And before he finished his statement, he says, "I'm betting on the second baseman." And I looked at him and I said, "You are?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I tell you what, you just made it easy for me, but I'm betting on that lefty."
He acted like he was still in the Cactus League. You know, Nolan Ryan or Joe Blow made no difference to him.
And now you got Nolan Ryan, and he was blowing snort out of his nose and just doing his whole act and whatnot. He was throwing hard. Oh, he was throwing hard. I mean, I know I was in the batter's box that day. He was throwing hard.
And whoever the guy was standing out there on the rubber had to throw the ball over the plate, and if he did, Will was sure he was going to put a good swing on it.
The first pitch was a curveball for a strike. And I backed out the batter's box, and I had a little grin on my face and sort of chuckled to myself. And the catcher looks up at me. He says, "What you laughing at?" I said, "The Express is throwing me curveballs."
He throws a fastball across the letters of Will Clark.
Here's Nolan's 1-1 offering to Clark. Fly ball deep to center field.
And he has this sweet little flip of the wrist. Pow!
Whack, gone.
Out she goes, center field.
Tony Walker heading for the warning track for Will Clark. It is out of here. Will Clark, his first major league at bat, and he pounds it over the 400 feet mark off Nolan Ryan.
We looked around here in the dugout, went, "You got to be kidding me. Center field, Nolan Ryan, Astrodome, stop this." And he just took off running like he does it every day. Like, he was not surprised.
And I just remember floating around home, around the next 2 bases. Don't even remember running.
Hit home plate, does the thing, you know,
and had all my family in the stands, gave me the old finger point.
You know how they have the silent act when guys hit home runs? This was a natural silent act. We were dumbfounded. He came walking in the dugout, puts his helmet on like this, and we're all sitting here going, our jaws are agape.
And, you know, of course, I was $100 richer.
And he puts the helmet down and he kind of walks in and he's got the Neusner face and he goes, "All right, let's get some more. Let's get some more." He's got the real high pitch voice. "Let's get some more." He had no idea what he did. You know, we knew what he had done. The Astros, we look over their dugout, they had the same look on their faces that we had. It's like, who the hell is this guy? It's Will the Thrill.
So good!
I always feel good.
There you go. There you go. Be aggressive like that. Hey, baby. If you get late, instead of giving it one of these numbers, if you fight to just go bam and pull those hands inside, you're still going to hit a line drive that way. Ta-da! Ta-ta-ta-ta! Golf clap on that one. Golf clap on that one. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. How come the starting pitchers always walk around bats?
Because they're wishful thinking. They want to know if they can hit or not.
Oh.
It's like position players. You guys always throw friggin' snapdragons and changeups thinking you got the best breaking stuff on the plate.
I didn't do that.
Never.
Cambio.
Change-up
See?
guy? You were a
Change-up guy.
I said.
Okay. All right. I got you. I got you now.
We gotta help ourselves.
All right.
You know?
Yes, you do.
Gotta help ourselves somehow.
Hey, look. Like I told you last time, don't be afraid to hit a homer and throw a no-hitter.
Right.
There you go. That's how you win. Take that with you.
A lot of times I try. He has that fun, loving aroma about it. Everybody kind of wants to be around him. He gravitates people to him just because of the way he is. And it's pretty neat to kind of watch it if you ever sit around and kind of watch people, they always just, Will's in the room, they kind of push towards him.
Whoa. Right off of Greg Maddox's shin.
I was one of the earliest guys getting to the ballpark. We'd go to Candlestick Park, and you get out right in front, and as you go into the locker room, the cage is right there to the right side, and many a time I'd hear somebody in there hitting. You couldn't see what I knew. Will's in there hitting.
He was the first guy to the clubhouse. He was the last guy to leave, and showed through example how you play the game.
By the time I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to get back to the ballpark. I really am. I start to get that itch. I'm ready to go.
Will Clark's tenacity and passion made him a natural leader in the clubhouse. With a missing piece now in place, a new era of Giants baseball had emerged, equipped with a new swagger.
I didn't walk out there every day to lose. I walked out there to kick your ass every day. I wanted to beat you. And when I had you down, I didn't want to beat you a little bit. I wanted to beat you a lot. I wanted to stomp on you. And I wanted my teammates to want the same thing.
His arrogance and his confidence they were contagious. And it gave all of us a cloak of invincibility.
If I'm swinging the bat good, you're in trouble.
If you're good, why don't you tell him that? There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you can go out there and back it up, there's nothing wrong with telling people.
There's no doubt that, a lot of his success came from his self-confidence, as a player. He played hard.
2 balls, 1 strike to Will Clark. Fastball, and it's all over! It's all over!
There you go. You're finally fighting a little bit. Attaboy.
Will, would you and your dad have little competitions?
We'd have all kinds of competitions. My dad made a game out of everything, which is a good thing. And so it's always a good thing to make a contest. Hey, who can catch the biggest fish? Who can catch the most fish? I bet you I can catch, I bet you I can catch 2 fish on this cricket. Anything like that makes it fun.
With the bright lights on in Chicago, the 1989 National League Championship Series had arrived. Will's all-star season would not only continue, it would peak in a series that would define his career.
Well, that whole series with the Cubs was amazing because of 2 reasons. 1, Will Clark, and 2, Mark Grace. It was almost like a heavyweight fight between the 2 guys.
For 5 games, I was the second best player on the planet.
I just remember how the feeling that we got as his teammates, that he was just putting us on his back. That's what leaders do. They don't have to say anything, they just act. They just do it.
I'll never forget the at-bat. It's rare to get bases loaded on Greg Maddox, but here comes the beef. We got the big boys coming out.
Don Zimmer going out to the mound, and Will Clark will be the batter with the bases loaded.
So all of a sudden there's a timeout. They go out and they have a meeting on the mound and whatnot, and I can see Will's talking to Mitchell, and we're all sitting here watching this whole thing down.
Greg Maddox is facing me, and Zimmer's got his back to me, and Greg Maddox is a little taller than him. And I'm looking right at Maddox, and Maddox goes fastball in. I was like, oh, geez. I said, well, I was going to look fastball in. Now, for sure, I'm going to look fastball in.
So, meeting over. Cubs go back to the dugout. Everybody goes back to position. Mitchell comes back over to the dugout and leans in and says, he's going to look in hard because he read Maddox's lips.
High drive into deep right field.
hits this bomb right across the letter. I don't think I ever saw Maddox throw a high pitch anyway. And Will was sitting on him. And he was looking speed, he was looking location, and when that happened, he didn't miss.
And I tell you what, I was running around the bases, you could have heard a pin drop running around those bases. But I got into the Giants dugout, and it was all pandemonium, broke loose.
High drive into deep right field. It is a grand slam home run.
And that was really, I thought, the turning point of the whole series. It's where everybody on that bench thought, you know what, we can do this.
The lore is that he read his lips, fastball. Well, after that day, Greg Maddux and every other pitcher now talks like this anytime there's a meeting on the mound. They hold their glove over their mouth because of that.
It's not out of the question that Will read his lips on the mound. You know, he had the big red S on his chest. He could probably look right into his brain and determine what Greg Maddux was thinking at that point, because he was locked in. It looked like he knew what was coming on every pitch.
One of the outstanding performances in the history of postseason competition with the 2 home runs, 4 hits, 6 RBIs, shattering.
I was more of a tactician. I knew what to look for and when to look for it. You know, it's a lot easier to hit when you know what's coming. And that was my job, to figure out what was coming when the game was on the line.
The '89 National League Championship Series had moved to San Francisco, and in Game 5, Will would solidify himself as one of the greatest clutch hitters of all time.
It was a beautiful sunny fall day in Candlestick. I don't think Candlestick ever looked as good.
It was a gorgeous day at Candlestick, and you know, it was a back and forth ball game. It was a real close ball game.
When it all started to come up and it started to evolve to the point where Will was coming up, we knew it was coming up. We knew it. You could see it all happen.
Ball 3. And waiting on deck is Don Zimmer's nightmare, Will Clark. Ball 4.
You know, it got down to the moment when they brought in Mitch Williams, who was throwing 99 rockets, didn't know where it was going. He didn't care where it was going. I mean, he wrote the book on Effectively Wild.
One of the toughest lefties I ever faced was Mitch. You didn't know if it was going to be in your ear hole or on the outside corner.
They bring Mitch in the game, and Will's standing in the on-deck circle while he warms up, and it was over. We knew it.
And the Cubs are hanging by a thread with 2 out, bases loaded in the 8th in a 1-1 tie. Well, you bet we'll be right back.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of guys who, when the bright lights come on, they don't want to have the bat in their hands, or they don't want to have the ball on the mound, and I was quite the opposite.
Who would you rather have come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning with the winning runs out there than Will Clark?
I mean, if there was a situation in the game that was crucial and clutch, you know, I wanted to have the bat.
He's a manager's dream. When you have somebody like that and you're fighting for a pennant or something and you got clutch situations, this is the kind of guy you want up there to hit.
I love Mitch. He's one of my favorite teammates, but man, I just did not want to see number 22 coming to the plate. I didn't care who was pitching.
I walked back towards home plate, and I walked right by Kevin Mitchell, and he says, "You got a job to do," and I turned around and I said, "It's done."
Very important moment where it's difficult to breathe, difficult to swallow. This is that moment.
So on a 0-2 in the hole, and I stepped out the batter's box, I took a deep breath, and I said, I am not giving in. I am not giving in. I'm going to bury my face up in the air, and I said, you have got yourself a battle on your hands now.
High foul down the line and out of play, and it's still 1-2.
The way he just fouled off those pitches, you just knew every time he swung he was going to hit the ball hard.
I completely blocked everything out. It was just me and the pitcher. I couldn't even tell you how many people were in the stands. All I could see was just the pitcher and the ball. That was it. You know, and it was just 2 of us having a little game out here.
Maldonado with the lead from third. Butler off second. Thompson from first in the pitch. And Clark hits it up the middle in its center field base hit. Maldonado scores.
Another high fastball at 99. It could have been hard because it jumped. He threw it, and you could hear him grunt. And Will the thrill. He squares it up, right back up the middle. We take the lead and never gave it back.
The Giants lead 3-1. And Superman has done it again.
My heart was about ready to jump out of my chest, and I was pointing at my teammates. you know, telling them it was for them. So it was a great moment.
Well, on behalf of Chevrolet, it's my pleasure to be able to present to you the most valuable player trophy for this year's National League Championship Series.
I want to thank my teammates, City of San Francisco, and how about that Bay Bridge World Series?
On part 3 of Inside the Clubhouse, Will the Thrill.
I wanted to stay a Giant for my life. I really did. That's when the business end of the game comes up and bites you.
A 3-run homer by Will Clark gives Texas a 3-1 lead.
I had another role where I needed to be home and be daddy.
3-2 bases loaded, bottom of the ninth. Trey Clark up.
And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out on top.
This has been an exclusive presentation from SFG Productions.